There's going to be two lines today. One line is going to be about where the business is at, where spending is going to be over the next couple of years. Mr. Nadella has already given us a preview that he does not expect spending to be very strong for the next couple of years. The second line is going to be about the investment in generative AI. There's been a lot of news breaking on that, some announcements from the company, and I expect there to be a lot of excitement communicated by the company about what those investments mean for Microsoft, both in the short and longer term.
You're talking specifically here about the owner of ChatGPT, correct? And how much money is Microsoft saying they want to put into that particular company?
Well, they've said several billions. The reports are that it's about $10 billion. But let's keep in mind, that's really mostly Azure compute that they're contributing to OpenAI. So in the short and medium term, they're actually going to get volumes into Azure based on this investment in OpenAI. And I think that's going to be one of the positives that could come out of this conversation. Even if in December those volumes weren't meaningful, Mr. Nadella last week says he expects up to 10% of all data and compute to be generative AI by 2025. If Azure gets even its fair share of that, that's $7, $8, $9 billion of revenue and possibly as much as 50 cents of earnings. So it's a very meaningful contribution to their most important business that could come from this investment.
That's super clever, and I missed that wrinkle. That's, hey, we'll invest in you, and you can use our computers for your massive data requirements. Are we, turning slightly, Gil, to the subject of Google and the antitrust suit today, are they going to end up fighting the last battle? I mean, is the battlefront already moving to AI, and how does that implicate search, its ad markets and all the rest of it?
Well, I think today was the second shoe. When we heard reports about Google going to Code Red, inviting Sergey Brin and Larry Page back to the fold, we knew that OpenAI's threat, ChatGPT's threat in combination with Bing goes after that Google search business. What we're now learning is that there's a concern now about the other part of the business. So Google is now under attack on both fronts, and it's going to have to move quickly to adapt, since these developments around generative AI, around ChatGPT, are happening at a breakneck pace, and Google has the technology. It just has to move faster in incorporating it into its product set.
How much of a, quote, cloud is hanging over Google right now, or Alphabet?
I think it's been building. This cloud has been building, as you pointed out earlier in the show, but now this is a very real threat. But you also pointed out that 25 years ago, Microsoft was dealing with the same thing. Mm-hmm. They made it through, they adapted, and under Mr. Nadella, they've become far less of a monopoly and much more involved in the developer community. I expect Google to maybe soften up in its development of its moats, which is a way of saying protecting its monopoly going forward, but it doesn't necessarily threaten its business in the short term.
All right, Gil, we have to leave it there, unfortunately. Thank you very much for being with us today, Gil Luria.